I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bang a rang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.
Hi, I'm Noelle, the host of Pop Punkin' Pizza, and today I'm joined by the 1-800s, the band from Chicago. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Fantastic.
Good, how are you?
Well,
Awesome. And so, how did you guys meet each other, or how did the band start?
Chris can kind of really.
Yeah, we started a band with a very unfortunate name called Neo Vixen
Without me.
in 2021, I believe. And it had me and Louie and then a previous member, Tony, and then some random dude that we found. And then ultimately that band split up and me, Louie, and Tony decided to move forward with the band in more of a live playing direction. And we auditioned drummers, which is where Marcy came in.
Yeah. I was in your sister's band
Yeah, you were.
for a bit
Yeah.
before that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we just found David. We just
Yeah.
ran into him, and we ended up recruiting David, Tony, an original member, OG. He,
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
yeah, it just wasn't for him anymore, so we
Okay.
found David, and he's been a great fit,
Yeah.
and all is well.
And has the addition of your new member, David, created any new challenges, like having to rework songs, or having to,
Well, you know, I'm a child prodigy, so I listened to a
Of
lot
course.
of the Beatles and ABBA growing up, so I just picked up songs like that. You know, they're so
I mean, I
simple.
think you could kind of. I mean, you could hear that in Starry Eye, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you could definitely hear like the Beatles in Starry Eye. I mean, we've had a lot of people tell us that anyway, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't really so hard. Like obviously, when you have a new member, there's challenges that come along with it. You know, our one song "In My Own Home" has been one that we haven't done that live, have we? Yeah, we haven't done it live just because. I don't know. It's such a tough one to get, like with the rhythm of the lyrics and also like the time signature. So there have been some setbacks, but for the most part, I think it's safe to say the ball is rolling.
and what would you say is your main goal as a band? Like, is it just to have fun, or would you ever want to play a big festival?
Oh my god.
I don't know. We all have very different.
Dude, we're on so many different pages. Like, first of all, we're all different ages. David's 19.
The bigger the better.
The bigger the better. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like having fun either way. 'Cause, I mean, you get this
Right.
giant ass stage to like jump around on, and then you get paid like whatever $10,000 if you're like a tiny performer.
I mean, stages are good. That's like the thing with DIY. As much as I love it, you know, you hit your head on the ceiling both,
Yeah.
That
you know,
happened to me at my
figuratively
place of
and,
Really?
and literally very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, and the amount of space you have to really, I feel like, put on a true performance and really, you know, when you're kind of cramped in a corner, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
play my song.
But like obviously like we're just like in different places, and everybody I think has a different goal, and everybody has a very different mindset, and I think all of
Yeah.
our personalities are very different, and that obviously like me and Louis fight like crazy all the time.
Yeah.
He's like basically my brother and my best friend, and all of you are, and I love all of you.
Wow, that was totally an after thing.
No,
he was
it
like,
was
he's my
not.
best friend, and also you guys are too.
All of you are.
I'm sure.
All of you are.
I'm sure.
I cherish you.
Uh-huh.
But you guys like piss me off to no extent, and sometimes I really just want to kill you.
Yeah, we had a stern talking to last week.
We have some like really intense band meetings, and I really whip out the big guns. And
Then it's all chill after that.
someone's got to be the knower.
Yeah, someone's got to.
Someone's got to
Whip
put
everyone
the no
into shape.
down. Yeah, and like, you know, be the one that says no.
Yeah.
And I feel like my mindset with like how we do the band is like, I'm 22 and like I'm chill like playing on a Saturday night and like doing it in front of all these people. I've also been doing it since I was like 10, and then like I started playing
We're
live.
both School of Rock
Yeah,
kids.
we started playing live when
Oh
I was
my
like
God.
14. So like I've been doing it for what, like 8 years now. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, I figured like, oh, I was just gonna go into it. And my stepdad is also a bassist, and
In
he
an
was my
epic
entire
Pink
life.
Floyd cover band
He's in Eclipse Chicago.
that she keeps
Check
inviting
out
us
Eclipse
to,
Chicago.
and that we keep not
Pink,
going
if you like
to.
Pink Floyd. He was always a bassist, and he was in an original band when I was like really little, so I kind of like totally gravitated. I wanted to play drums, but my parents wouldn't let me, so I ended up with a bass. And which is I think the story for everybody, but so and he never did that as like a job. He always did it as a hobby. So my whole mindset is like, I'm just gonna keep doing it until it stops being fun. And like the last thing I want to do is have to like depend on it, or have it like get in my way, or have it like do all these things that like you know,
be a job.
Yeah, like the last thing I want to do is that, because then it no longer like becomes
all jobs
fun.
suck the fun out of everything. I would
And
love
that's
my
pretty
job
accurate.
so much more if I didn't have to do it.
Exactly.
So true.
At this point, like we're taking what we could get and striving for more. You know, so it's really just whatever comes at us.
Awesome. And when is your... Oh, you guys will be playing at Bitter Gesture Music Festival June 7th. Can you tell me more about that?
I don't really
Kinda.
know too much about it.
Okay.
David and Louis kind of handle...
We
They
sat
handle
in on the Zoom
business
meeting
side.
that we did about this,
We
so
did
I don't
sit
know.
on
Yeah.
the Zoom meeting, and we're not allowed to swear or talk about violence.
Or
Or drugs.
do anything or say anything.
Yeah. Like, we have a song about sex that we can't do.
We have a lot of songs that we can't do. I can't do hip
We
and
actually have a
harder.
couple songs about sex.
Well,
Two,
yeah, well,
at least.
we have at least two.
So I grew up in the streets of HP. So this is like a lifelong dream of mine.
Okay.
Like see
Awesome.
them like playing in the summers. I'd be like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And then it's a side project of mine. I have a main band, Dweller.
Okay.
Stream Dweller, balls are gone.
Yes.
And
Soon to be possible. That might come over to us.
that might come over to us.
Okay.
Yeah, all rights belong to me. But we never had a consistent drummer. They reached out for me to play last year. But I like didn't have the balls to just go up there with like a backing track.
Yeah.
It's also not like punk rock.
Yeah. I could see that.
So then when I joined the 1-800s, I'm like, we might as well just like apply.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we got in, and it was
Yeah.
really great.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's kind of the first really big event that we've ever kind of done, or like the biggest event, I guess, so far.
Yeah.
Billy Corgan was a judge since 2020.
Yeah, I heard about
except
that.
Maybe not this year. So it's like, what's even the point?
Well, sometimes he hangs out around his cafe, Madame Zuzu's in Highland Park. So I don't know. You might see him there, because I did see him there. Just like I was doing a band interview in Highland Park, and we were walking across the cafe, and we saw him. So
That would be like, Louis would like poop his pants on the spot. Like
Yeah.
if he like, he would shit his pants and pass out if he ever came within like
You
a
never know.
mile of Billy Corgan.
you might see him.
So yeah, June 7th is our date. We won't know like the times till day of. But yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
think what time does like the event start? Like 5 or 5:30 or something like that?
Yeah, like 5.
It's like 5:30 to like 10:30, something
Okay.
like that. So
Yeah.
And you recently announced that you have an album coming out in July called 10 Compressors. How's the writing process of that been going so far?
Well, it's actually all recorded, and it's being
Okay.
mixed right now.
Awesome.
So we recorded it at Dogbed Studios in Elgin with
Okay.
Danny. If you heard of the band Spliff,
Yeah.
yeah, Danny is recording it, mixing it, mastering it. They also did Starry Eye.
We finally made it to the point where it's all finished. We've gone through a horrible process of getting this
really?
like recorded.
Well, yeah, I mean, so it's kind of a little bit more complicated than the traditional album release. Really, we've been working on this for about 2 years, I'd say. Well, I mean, before you were there, but you were there.
How long has it been? Like a year ago? Over a year ago,
At
maybe.
least
So
a
like
year ago.
over a year ago, at least a year ago, we had basically this entire album minus a couple songs,
Yeah.
and we were getting it recorded at this dude who promised to do it for free, and he had he had so much expensive equipment, like it was great stuff, but
Yeah.
he was just not. he wasn't the best engineer.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
We had a hard time finding our way in that.
Yeah.
That's also kind of how we found David. Somehow.
You know, we've met David actually through the process of creating 10 Compressors before
Okay.
he was even our guitarist.
So
boy.
it's too long ago to even remember. Half these songs were written forever ago, and some of the other ones are like kind of a lot newer. To be honest.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
become a compilation of like everything that we've done that we just haven't had the resources to record yet.
Right.
So a lot of it is like really old stuff that if you've seen us play live, you've definitely like heard. Some of it is a lot more
Okay.
recent from the last year. We kind of compiled it all, and a lot of it is kind of basically everything that wasn't on our previous EP, Giant Green Slug. Everything we've made after that is on this album.
But really, I mean, we've been working on an album, and I was like, even some of my favorite albums and some of the albums that I would call the greatest albums of all time, like every album has at least one song or one track or more that you just skip over. You just don't listen to it.
Right.
And that's something that I'm like, I haven't heard an album that doesn't do that. And that was really what we wanted to do, was to create like the world's first no skip album.
Wow.
I mean, David, what do you think?
That's very
about that?
ambitious.
I think, yeah, no, it's a no skips album.
I mean, all the way through, front to back. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how we intend for you to listen to it.
Awesome. Well, that sounds very exciting. Louis and David said there were no skips on this album whatsoever. Would you agree with that?
I mean, there's a skip or two.
Really?
I won't point any fingers at any bandmates or anything, but that's all I'll say that at.
Interesting. Interesting.
I think we'll choose not to comment too heavily.
Okay. And your most recent release was Starry Eye. Will that be on your upcoming album?
You know, we're thinking about it. We're gonna decide once we have all the tracks in. But, you know, it's a
I mean,
maybe.
there's room for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
my main concern is like, that's already a single. Is that going to cause a skip?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
that's big for us. Like, that's the whole thing.
It's like people have heard it before.
Yeah, like, are
Yeah.
you just going to gloss over that? You know, like, it needs, obviously, like, it's not just any old album. Like, this is the very first no skip album. Like,
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
Cool. And what inspired the name of 10 Compressors?
So there's this guy on Discord I knew, and on all his tracks, if you remember,
Yeah.
he would put
Yeah.
10 compressors on the snare, and it would just sound absolutely massive,
Fucking huge.
huge,
I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
giant.
Like, this guy, what was his username?
Prod by Anarchist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
have
really,
to
we
look
got to
him
give him
up.
some credit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
it's sounded great. And you know, we're selling out now with this album, getting it properly recorded. It's not DIY anymore, and so it's like a fitting name.
So you know that guy who promised to record us for free? He like, so it's kind
Yeah.
of hard because like David knows him. Like they're like kind of buds. But anyways, he like, we were on a phone call. We were on like driving to like Taco Burrito King or something. And
Sorry, they're just watching in the window. Go on. Go on.
we were driving to get food, and Sammy, the engineer, calls us and is telling us about like this new like
This thing
recording
he saw.
technique. This
this new
thing he
thing we
like
found.
saw on the internet or like on Discord or something. I don't know, but it was like, I forgot the story.
Oh
to
my
be honest.
goodness. He
I'm so nervous.
he was saying that
okay.
he made like some like very interesting comment about some kind of thing that he saw where they put
I
10
remember the news
compressors
story. I remember
on
the real story. That's
the real
fake
story?
That's the fake story.
There's a fake
Okay, so
Oh,
the real story
okay.
is, that's the one that they were, I think
Yeah, they were
did.
lying about it.
So the real story is he would record Chris's bass directly
Oh.
into the interface with no like bass amp simulator, no nothing. Just the preamp that's in the interface.
Yeah.
And he was just like, dude, I just like add like 10 compressors to it and you can like hear it. Because we couldn't fucking
And it's
hear
like
it.
awesome.
He would send things back to us and we were like, can you turn up the bass? Even during
There
like
was
when we
always
were
an issue
recording,
with the bass.
She would be like, can we please turn up the bass? And he'd be like, yeah, I got you. And then he'd like do something and it wouldn't
Give
turn
me a
up at all.
sec. And then it would be 5 minutes and then I'm like, still can't hear anything. So
Yeah.
I think that's actually where it came from. And yeah,
Why'd
we
you
like
do
to
that
be
for so long?
humorous. And we were trying to decide on a name for a really long time and we could not figure it out whatsoever and we didn't even come close and it wasn't even.
And we were like, this is like, we would like say it became like a running gag kind of.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh, what if we called it 10 compressors?
And
And
then
like it was like, yeah, that's actually kind of a cool name, you know?
we all pretty much instantly were like, yeah.
Yeah,
That'll
it kind
work.
of reminds me of that one Fugazi album. I have no idea what it's called, but it reminds me of it.
13.
13 songs
No,
plus.
no,
The one
other-
that has
it had like something. It was like
Repeater?
another electrical thing, right? Repeater.
it has a repeater on it.
That's the
Okay.
one.
I cannot. for the life
Okay,
of me.
I'm not allowed to talk anymore.
You're not allowed to shush. Where was I? Oh yeah.
The title.
We were like, it sounds badass, and I bet people would think that like, oh, like this is.
It means something
it's-
special.
It means
Yeah.
something special.
Well, that
and it's not
story-
just like some stupid. Like,
Yeah, that story
joke.
actually gives me more appreciation for the title. I like
Yeah.
that story.
It has a lot of deep.
It has a lot of
personal
character
meaning.
to
Yeah.
it. And so when you write songs, which instrument do you usually start
Sure.
with?
Oh.
Or like which one do you usually record first?
Well, recording, we record both of us at the same time, so drums and bass,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then everything else is later on top of that. But
Okay.
when it comes to writing, I like that's like Chris and Louis.
So with 10 compressors, like I said, this is a no skip album. So obviously, you know, as it's no secret that all musicians use a little bit of outside help. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. So sometimes we start with guitar, sometimes it's just a general idea. With a little bit of this, we use like some generative AI prompts to kind of help
Okay.
us really get, you know, the sound we're after. I don't know. I just feel like the human mind only goes so far.
Yeah, like in studio, like we do this thing called writing in stew,
Mm-hmm.
and then last minute when we can't like think of like lyrics, for example, me or Louis will just like ask ChatGPT like what should we add to this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it just helps us out.
That's a very
You know, we're on the $200 per month plan
yeah.
because
Well, we
of this,
split it,
yeah.
of course. All four of us, like, you know, down the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is funny because we don't actually really write together all that much. Like, Louis used to write with Tony when Tony was still in the band, and they both play guitar, and it was really easy for them to just go off and write and then come back with, like, mostly finished stuff that we would kind of fill in the blanks for.
They were John and they were John and Paul.
Yeah.
And she was George Harrison.
Yeah, that's back in the day when I was George Harrison. But they would kind of go at that and come back with pieces, and they were very collaborative, and I would go off and do my own thing and then come back and be like, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like, these are your parts. Not that formal, but I think we did fill in the vibe of their, like, kind of songs.
Yeah.
And I think, like, you filled in the vibe to a lot of, like, my songs.
The songs really wouldn't be complete unless, like,
We
yeah,
were
Chris,
all-
you write songs. Yeah, Louis writes songs, but then they come to the band and then
And then it becomes a 1-800
and then they
song.
become
Yeah.
good. Like,
Yeah.
anytime I think like any band, like someone brings something to the table, it's like always dog shit. You gotta like,
You gotta mold it.
you gotta mold it.
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
let it
fair.
stew.
So we do that, and then recently it's been more like Louis will write more things like independently and take the lead, and then like I'll come in with it. We're trying to be a little bit more collaborative in this new season of the 1-800s.
Awesome. That's a very interesting take on AI.
Yeah.
I would say most artists would disagree with using AI.
We love
in their
AI.
music.
We really are a pro AI band.
Okay.
And honestly, most artists are going to say, oh, we don't use AI. But as an artist, I could tell you most of them are using AI.
It's like, are you gonna like push a nail in or use a hammer?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite 1-800 song?
To be honest with you, Apostasy is coming up on the next
Oh,
album,
okay.
on 10 Compressors. It's like it like drives kind of like rock and roll, but it's still got, I don't know, it's just got a little extra to it.
Yeah.
It's still the 1-800s, but it's like rock and roll kind of.
Awesome.
Cherub Rock?
Cherub Rock's pretty good.
Yeah.
We haven't really played that. I don't think that's another one that David just can't really get.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cherub Rock's pretty good. I mean, Zalin's always a good time. Honestly, some of these newer tracks you're going to hear on the record, I don't know. They're kind of the bee's knees.
Yeah.
So you might have to stay tuned for July 4th.
Cool. And is there a reason you decided to release it on July 4th?
We love America.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's the greatest day of the year. Greatest day in the history of this country, I'd say. So, yeah, I was just, I mean, no-brainer, really.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I think Apostasy is really good already.
Oh my god, and your harmonies too are like crazy.
Yeah, we kind of went crazy, and I feel like a lot of the songs on the album were recorded, and we were kind of like really reaching for like, what can we do? More like, how can we amp up like what we already play live? We definitely didn't go into it thinking like we have to replicate what we do live like on this album. It was kind of more like, what can't we do when we play it live that would be like, you know, sick in this. So I think that's super cool, and that includes a lot of like harmonies. And
we went into the studio kind of with at least I did, with the attitude of like, okay, no writing in the studio, no wasting any time at all. Like, we're not going to add anything. These songs are written, they're done. That's it.
Yeah.
But we like
done.
added something to like every single song.
Oh.
Just
But
because
it happened very seamlessly though.
it did. Because like it was Danny from Dog Bed Studios. It's just like such a good engineer. And,
Yeah.
They're
like,
amazing. So they contributed a lot, but I think it's really like and I think it's really cool. And I would agree that Apostasy on this new album, I think is going to be really cool. I think there are a lot of them that we haven't even gotten to like really listen to because we just finished recording them, so none of them are even like mixed or like balanced at all. So I think there's so many that we're kind of like sleeping on right now because it's like, you know, the most exciting things, you know, you look for in the new song. So I think we'll find more as it, you know, progresses. It becomes mixed.
Cool. And would you guys ever want to be signed to a record label, or would you rather stay independent?
I don't really care. It really
I don't
depends
feel
on the
the need.
contract.
Yeah.
I prefer, like, I feel like with going independent, you're like kind of guaranteed independence.
Yeah.
Like with your music, but you own all of it.
Right.
You, like, the songs are yours. And like, if we were to like sign to anyone, I would want the songs to be ours and to like,
Right.
I don't know, still get kind of a chunk of the money. Like, there's no money in streaming now, but like money's in shows. But yeah.
I haven't
I
even
feel
gotten
that.
there personally. I haven't even gotten to that train of thought. I mean,
Yeah.
Green Day did it.
yeah, they did. I don't know. I don't feel the need. I don't feel an overwhelming desire to
Yeah.
sign to like something major or like huge. So to me, I feel like why?
That's the goal. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, we wrote a no-skip album, not, you know, I mean, okay, let me just say this, is like, with DIY, you only go so far, you know? You got to start making some money sometimes. You know, you can't be afraid to sell $25 shirt, $30 album or something. Like, you got to eventually, like, the music is a big part of it, obviously, and it's what's fun and gets the ball going, but eventually, like, you know, the business side of things takes over, and it's like, that's really where at least our focus is right now as a band. I mean, what do you got on that?
You know, DIY, I'm living off ramen and ketchup mustard sandwiches. Label lets me afford
Get a little
real
meat on there?
food. Yeah.
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 Some like tofurkey or something,
True.
or like actual meat even.
Not for me, but yeah, you get the gist
Actual
of
meat.
it, yeah.
Yeah, and so the record label would allow that.
Right. And what are some bands or artists that inspire your music?
I mean, I say Smashing Pumpkins is obviously a big one overall.
Smashing Pumpkins for sure. Not from me, But
Definitely not from either of us. Definitely not. We have to speak about it first because the other one now is so obsessed with Billy Corgan.
Lately, it's been a lot of Julie.
Fried by Fluoride.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Two Hollis.
I guess Green Day kind of.
I think the ones, I do think that you can tell very clearly like who took the lead on what and who started the song first though, because I think Louis, you can definitely tell like with songs like Apostasy or like Mood or like
It's like sloppy kind of.
not slop, it's just
like in a good
very
way, I'm not
it's
saying
like
that.
swishy almost, like he
Yeah.
has a very like fluid kind of style of doing things, and his
Yeah.
songs are a lot more like bright and cheery, and I was, and it kind of does follow the line of like Nutri-Milk Hotel and Smashing Pumpkins if you like mesh
Okay.
the two together. And I think I listened to a lot of when I was like 15 or 16 and like getting into like music like seriously and wanting to do my own stuff, I listened to a lot of like Babes in Toyland.
Okay.
And, like,
yeah, they're really good.
yeah, and I think I really took a lot from their singer Kat, like specifically with like how I sing, because she's very much like not trying to sound like pretty when she's
Yeah.
doing it, which I think like is the point. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
you're screaming like it's not
Kind of more of a
supposed to
punk
be.
sound.
That's what I mean. Well, it's kind of more like metal. Like she kind
Yeah.
of like that band isn't even like considered like a Riot Girl band or like stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
more, it's just like a metal band.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of bands like that, and even some other bands that are more like considered Riot Girl, like Slant Six or like Sleater Kinney and stuff like that, definitely I think very obviously kind of play into some of the stuff that I've started or that I've written, like Audie or like Bitch Ass or Hit Me Harder. I think they very clearly steer in that direction, and I
Cool.
think Louis' songs also kind of have like their own aura,
Yeah.
Louis
Awesome.
aura.
We all have
Let's
kind
spin.
of different backgrounds. That doesn't necessarily always like transcribe in our music. I mean, I for one, I write my music from my soul. I just kind of open up and let it flow. So it's not always about the influence, but I mean that's some of them.
And I guess the way that I like musically, I guess what I inspiration wise that I bring to the band, I guess as a drummer, is I listen to a lot of really loud music and
Yeah.
a lot of really fast music. And I'm getting into a little industrial, which is why
Really?
there's gonna be synth on this next
Industrial
on
is
this
sick.
next album.
Interesting.
But
You
I
complete
go,
the song.
I try and go as hard as possible, and then kind of like dial it back.
Yeah.
So like, I listen to a lot of hardcore. I love Travis Barker, and I love
Yeah.
J. Cool. So I kind of
Me too. Who doesn't?
yeah.
Honestly. And you guys have played countless local shows. Do you have a favorite Chicago venue?
I mean, Ashbury's always a good time.
I like
Yeah.
Fallen Log. I haven't played Fallen Log.
Okay.
But their sound's always great, and they have that second
Yeah.
floor part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second floors are cool. There's a little bit
I
of
do
like
really like second
when you
floors.
have a second floor. I mean, granted, we've played Fallen Log before David was here.
Yeah.
Saw them twice at Fallen Log.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But we never had the second floor really fill up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ashbury is always a good time. Like
Yeah,
we
I like
we never really
Ashbury.
do bad there. Lately, Controlled Chaos. We've been playing there, and that's
yeah.
We pack it.
That's where
yeah,
I saw
that's
you
like
last
usually
time.
yeah, exactly. Like we've done really well there. I mean, Sub T was fun, but I mean, anytime you're in the city, parking's a bitch. So
Yeah, that is very true.
you know,
especially around there.
yeah, really. There was like I was like 6 blocks down the street.
Yeah, I feel you.
I like downstairs Sub T just because
Okay.
like one of my first shows that I ever like went to was there.
Cool.
I saw Normalcy like forever ago.
Yeah, it's a cool venue.
What else? I also like downstairs Sub T a lot. I mean, it's tricky because no matter what, there's never parking. So that's kind of always
that's what they said too.
that's kind of always like puts a damper on my night, to be honest. So like anything in the city, I'm inherently like
Yeah.
anything near Wrigleyville, I'm like never
yeah,
again.
it always sucks.
Cubs games sucks.
I feel like
Yeah.
we've had more definitive experiences of like where we don't want to play. Not so much with like not so much
No,
with like big
100%.
venues necessarily all the time, but more so with like the like smaller just like areas. We played like our Giant Green Slug EP release was in
That was a
the
cool
city.
ass location.
Nobody made it. Took 45 minutes like past the time for everybody to actually show up because everybody was looking for parking the entire time. Because
That's
there was
a good
like
point.
a concert or a game or like there was something going on over there. So I think we've kind of distinctly found the places where it's like we need to stay away or like it's going to be rough like trying to get there, and we've kind of found places that are a little more like practical. But I think downstairs Sub T is really cool, and the places that I think are worth the parking are like that. I thought
My car died right out front of it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Really?
that was crazy. Yeah, Fred from Satin Black. Well, all the guys from Satin Black, but they were like, I mean, Fred was just fucking chain smoking, trying to get my battery going.
Yeah.
And then we call State Farm after like an
Yeah,
hour and a half
this
of trying. This
dude
guy
just
pulls
comes out.
I know what's wrong with it. Just like attaches the
Car starts
jumper
right
to the
out,
thing.
Just
Yeah.
fixes it.
Yeah, the
like
1-800 Mobile was having, it was kind of,
Wow.
it was like on hospice for a while, but you know, it
Yeah.
actually made a full recovery. So
And it died again when we were in Hermosa.
Oh no.
And that was
yeah,
awesome.
we died then. Then I got fucking T-boned, but
Oh my god.
it's a trooper.
That's
Really,
terrible.
it's the the car that makes the band go round.
WC Social Club sucks ass.
they're the
They take
worst.
your money. If you're a small band and WC is like hitting you up or you're
Don't
trying
do
to get
it.
a show at WC,
Don't do
no,
it.
they're
Yeah,
gonna
I've
take
heard
all
of-
of the money.
I've
We
heard
totally
that.
flipped your question into something super negative too, so I'm sorry for doing that. But like, I think those stand out more because it's obviously an ordeal, and I think we go into it with a positive attitude and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of just more abrupt when someone's like ruining your fucking night. But I
Yeah.
think like
And they kicked us out of the green room.
they did. There was a lot going on there. We won't even. But I think there have also been a lot of like DIY spots that are really hospitable and very nice, and a lot of very like generous people that have opened their homes to the community and like
There are also a
giving
lot of-
us a place.
A lot of like DIY, just like pop-up places.
Yeah.
Like where they just do one show and they're like, I never want to like host a show
Yeah.
ever again, but they're still like awesome.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
But it's like that serves the same purpose to me. I don't know.
And that's kind of the
It's-
fun of it. It's like you never know if you're gonna see another show there
Yeah.
again.
Well, especially when it's somebody's house too. It's like it's a unique experience. You're in somebody's
Yeah.
house, like you're in somebody's unfinished dank basement. There is no, you see the most vulnerable parts of the host. So.
Oh, the house. We haven't played there, but I've seen bands play
Oh,
there. It's
yeah.
a cool venue.
I've heard of that place.
And I was literally just gonna say, my place, Ohio, just closed
Yeah.
down, but that was a
Yeah.
really, really fun place to play at.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And are there any local bands you would want to do like a collaboration or a split with?
We were talking to Gelatinous Cube about that.
Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of a little bit. I like vinyl, right? I wouldn't say I'm a huge vinyl head.
Yeah.
But it's not cheap to get that stuff printed onto vinyl. So we were talking about maybe doing a split. I feel like
Yeah.
a no skip album deserves to be on a record.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, so I mean, I would. There's nobody that we would really like. I guess that's something that's not really on the radar right now,
Yeah.
but we're not opposed.
I mean, I like Moon Rules Apply. They're
Oh, yeah, I
cool.
love them.
yeah, they're great.
They're really good.
And Label Help, Chief Keef, maybe.
That would be a wild
Local
collab.
guy,
Yeah.
David would love to collab with Naomi 10 Million, which is like a really, they're like pretty small actually, but like he just loves their sound. One of their members is actually featured on the album. Fun
Oh,
fact,
nice.
With a secret instrument.
I think we're always on the verge of doing something with Satin Black, or like with. I think
Satin
it's
Black's
mainly
always down to do a
Fred.
show.
Yeah, I think like first of all, I think Fred's like a machine. So I feel like any
Machine, that's
band like
awesome.
he's in is like
I don't know
he's
how
got
he
their
does it
shit
all.
down.
He's in Satin Black, Night Freak. He has a job. He like is an artist. He does like all sorts of like merch things. Like he's gonna be doing our.
And he drinks hella
tapes.
beers, and he gets on that stage,
He's
and
chilled
it's
on
like a
PBR.
machine, and it's like
Yeah.
scary almost. So we're always like kind of on the verge of setting stuff up with like the bands he's in. I know Louis is a yapper, and he like, we need one. Every band
Yeah,
needs the
that's all
yapper
good.
and the socialite. But
Yeah.
Louis is like friends with like all the bands, and like I think
Yeah.
he's been friends with like with one of the guys from Pure Intention, and like so I think there's like kind of
He
more
works
so.
out with Tim Intention.
Yeah, he works out with him at the gym, so I feel like there are a lot of bands that we're always kind of like doing something with.
Yeah. And you had a couple songs that were featured on like an independent film called The Haunters. How did
yeah,
that
that's, like-
collaboration come about? And like, did they reach out to you, or how did you find out
That's a
about them?
deep dive.
I didn't even know
Yeah,
about
yeah, I didn't even know about that. So our friend Caden, who lives in New Mexico, if you know, our Rotary logo
Yeah.
was designed by him.
Okay.
He was a friend of a friend, and I kind of knew him through a bunch of stuff. So in the beginning, a lot of our what do you call it, digital design, digital art was
Well, yeah.
all done by him, and he was doing a short film or film, whatever you like you
Yeah.
said, and he wanted to use our music.
Well, first off, he the payment he asked for doing our logo was merch, and we haven't sent him merch yet. Not like out of malice, but like we
Yeah.
keep forgetting.
Oh no.
But I honestly have no idea who he is. He's just a dude from Arizona who Louis knows and made a short film.
had this project.
I still haven't seen the short film, to be honest. I
Really?
didn't even know it came out. To be honest, even though the single came out like 2 years ago or something. Some crazy
Well, we
long time
immediately
ago.
were on board with it because he pitched it like as like a very like it was like a Scooby-Doo-ish type of thing that he kind of like pitched it
Yeah.
as. So it was kind of like I think we did Richard Fetus for it, and it
Yeah.
it just like totally fit like with what we were doing, and we had this like kind of like surfer thing like going on that song in the middle, and it just kind of seemed like it worked. So it just kind of seemed perfect, and we were like, just have it. Like it's like, you know, it just kind of
Yeah.
seemed like it fit. So there wasn't like a huge deliberate like planning thing really. It wasn't like anything like huge where we were like, you know, collabing or any. Well, we were, but like it wasn't like a huge, you know.
Yeah.
Like partnership thing. It was more just, I feel like, at least on my end, like, oh, it totally like fits, like just take it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of wrote Richard Fetus, like we had Richard Fetus already written,
Yeah.
but we recorded it for that sake.
Okay.
And that's why we released it in like February,
Yeah.
because he needed it by the end of the year, and we were like, fuck, we're late, where it's not till February
Yeah.
we're done with it. I don't even think he released the short film till like May. So and it was like, yeah, it was like an end credit thing too. It was
Yeah.
really cool. It was cool to have
That
that
is
featured.
really cool.
The writer was really talented. Co-writer of that.
I guess so.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. And you started this thing recently called Easy Fridays on your Instagram, and most recently a little challenge called Star Days. Can you kind of explain what that is?
Absolutely.
And what inspired that?
So, I mean, I think we're all, you know, at least me and kind of the rest of the band, and I would say a good portion of a lot of people within our local scene are kind of in that place in our lives where we're becoming adults. And that kind of challenge is a big one in itself. So for me, it kind of helps to make these little kind of games for myself that are kind of like good habits.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I want to share that, you know, with the fans. I mean, we've gotten a lot of good, you know, like response out of that. Easy
Yeah.
Fridays kind of become a thing. People, you know, it caught on more better than I actually thought it would. And the Star Days, I mean, that's just, that one really helps because, you know, you get a Star Day, you get like 2 or 3 of those a week. You know, it stops that impulse. You know, actually, so there's a little phenomenon that's been going on with the Star Days that I've been noticing within myself.
Yeah.
And you know, I hope, you know, people can notice that with themselves too. Where, you know, if you have a day, let's say, you know, you got to put gas in the car and then that's not counting as a Star Day.
Yeah.
You kind of have it in the back of your head. It's like, oh, well, today's not a Star Day anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that in itself is kind of what Star Days is trying to stop. So we're kind of calling that having a starry eye problem.
Okay.
You know, it kind of coincides with the
With the
song,
song.
but
It also helps with our 10-step sellout process.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, there's a process.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I can only tell you it exists. I can't tell you the parts of it.
Right.
But this will help us get real views.
It's close, you know. It's, you know, yeah. I mean, there's another aspect of it. Like we said, at this point in our band, it's really the music has taken a back seat. Like we're a business. At the end of the day, we're a business, and like. You know, the more, you know, flow we can have to us, you know, the more we start generating a little bit of the revenue. You know, not that we generate a whole bunch right now. You know, so Easy Friday and, you know, Star Days are one of those things where these things catch on. And
yeah, Louis and David said the band is like a business, and they have a 10-step process for how they're going to achieve stardom.
Well, the 10-step process, that does exist, but
Really?
I'm not a fan of it.
Okay. Yeah,
But,
they
you know,
won't go
I'm
into
like-
detail about it. They just said there's a 10-step process.
Well, yeah, there is a 10-step process, obviously.
And anything else you guys have been working on that you want to talk about?
I mean,
It's all under the 10-step process.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's kind
I
of,
don't know how
yeah,
much I
it
can
is
say.
a
How
little
far along
unwrapped.
are you in the 10-step process?
We
would
got,
you say?
what, 3, 4?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 right now.
So we got 6 more steps to go. Like, you mean in terms of writing the steps out, or like accomplishing the steps?
Accomplishing the steps.
Oh, we're only at 1. Step
Yeah.
1. That's the start day. That's the start day Easy Friday.
We got to think
Okay.
of the rest.
Yeah,
of the
we're
straight up.
4, 3 or 4. Whoops. 1 second, I gotta take this.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on?
And so since this is
Nothing.
the Pop Punk and Pizza
What are you
podcast,
doing?
I wanted to ask, what's your favorite kind of pizza?
I'm quite
Yeah, what do you
partial to
get?
Pequods.
Okay.
I like the burnt cheese crust.
Cool. Are you in?
Giordano's
Are you
is-
going to the
is
thing?
pretty good too. I'm not a fan of.
Are you
the
going
Marmite.
to the thing?
You know,
Really?
Yeah, the crust is just too like.
Yeah, where's it's
biscuity
at United
for me.
Center, right?
Okay.
I don't like it.
Vegan.
Any specific kind of vegan pizza? Or just any
Looking at
kind?
it.
Yeah,
Like, any type of pizza is, like, a score when you're vegan.
that's true.
Because, like,
Not
it's,
vegan.
I don't even give a shit if it has cheese on it or not. Like, I'll take a normal pizza with no cheese. That shit's fucking bomb. Just put
Really?
onions, put peppers on that.
That's
like,
a hot take.
Olives. Yeah.
See, that to me makes sense, but
It's awesome.
I'm very much not vegan, so I
Just think of it like a flatbread.
I love cheese. Cheese and sausage and
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about deep dish, honestly.
Oh, okay. Oh,
like,
Soldier Field.
it's just
That's
kind of
huge.
too chewy for
You can
me.
see.
I would say.
I think Nick's.
Yeah,
going.
I
I
mean,
could
it's
see
good,
that.
but like I'll take
Yeah,
it. You know,
I know.
it's
I like it.
pizza,
I like
but
it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Um,
I gotta
my
go. I'm
favorite
gonna,
is
I'm gonna
thin
talk to you
crust
later.
pizza,
Okay.
though.
I like thin crust too.
like margarita pizza.
Hey, Noel.
Margarita pizza is good, but I feel like from deep dish you just get more flavor.
but if we're being fancy,
How are we
cheese and
ever going to get
sausage
signed to Billy Corgan's label
mushrooms.
if you're not going to be vegan like he is?
Sorry. I'm not gonna comment.
Sit in
I'm
your
not
way,
vegan.
bro.
I'm
Good.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
Pequods is
Sorry
like,
about that.
less chewy, and that's why I like it more. Like,
Pineapple on
Pineapple
pizza.
on pizza.
That's #1 to go. Kitchen 17. Shout out Fallen Log, of course. We got their mac and cheese deep dish.
you won't believe it's vegan.
Yeah.
It
Really?
doesn't
Yeah.
taste
I
vegan.
mean, I've been vegan for almost a decade, so
Yeah.
it's kind of. I wouldn't believe it if it.
Okay.
You know, anyway, but if David says it, it's true.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to do this interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thank
it's
you
been
so much
really
for
fun
taking the
answering these
time.
questions.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.